Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for how to find your dream job. We greatly appreciate your time for those joining us live and also who are listening in later on too. So we are going to be talking about how to find your dream job today. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Hallie Crawford. I'm a certified career coach, speaker, and author. Our company is based in Atlanta, Georgia, but we have coaches all over the country. We love what we do. I've been coaching and training since 2002 and have an undergraduate degree from Vanderbilt University and a graduate degree from the University of Illinois. And we're going to give you a lot of tips today. Obviously, there are a lot of different things that you need to do to find your dream job, but we're going to give you our highlights. Pick and choose what makes the most sense for you and your situation. And know that you will get a copy of the recording of this when we are finished. So just keep an eye on your email for that recording later on. So let's dive in. The way that we work has changed dramatically. If we start with during and post-COVID, all the way to AI, technology, everything that's going on out there, changing the workforce. And what we have found is that understandably, because of all of these changes, people's priorities have changed, what they want from work has changed. And obviously the way we perform our jobs is completely different in some ways. In some ways it's the same, but in a lot of ways it's very different. And as a result, when our clients come to us, they are looking for something more rewarding, and we're finding that is a theme. People want to feel more connected to their jobs. They want to feel more connected to the mission, vision of the organization, and they want to be in the right work environment, to name a few items. So here's what we're going to talk about today. There are 3 steps that we would recommend you start with in order to find your dream job. Take a look at and leverage our ideal career model to help you evaluate and brainstorm options, but also narrow things down based on practical considerations too. We then suggest you brainstorm ideas using those different components of the ideal career model. And then finally, as you start to work on your job search, you need to make sure that you're branding yourself effectively. If you'd like to learn more about our services, please feel free to schedule a free consult. You can email us at admin@createyourcareerpath.com. We'd be happy to talk with you or someone that you refer to us about our services. So first of all, we want to talk about having the right perspective with finding your dream job. And the deal here is that you don't want to be looking for perfection. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. What we tell our clients is that what you're going for, and the right perspective to have, if you will, is that the good parts about what you're doing next so far outweigh the parts that you don't like as much that you barely notice those. So the right perspective to have is the pros outweigh the cons. We're always going to have coworkers that we may not like as much or get along with as well. Elements of our work environment that we may not enjoy as much. Nothing's going to be perfect. But what we also find is that when people are at choice, when you are at choice about where you might be compromising in order to get that dream job, you're going to feel so much better because you're choosing, okay, I can compromise in these areas as long as I get these other elements. Those are a bigger deal for me. And the good news about all of this is you can find a sense of direction in what you do work-wise, and you can find true fulfillment in your work. Is it going to be 100% every single second of the day? No, but the majority of the time, 80% or more, you should be enjoying and can be enjoying what you do. So why is this important, this whole topic in the first place? Let's talk about that for just a moment. It's important because we spend so much time at work. It impacts our personal lives as well as like our mental well-being. And if you look at the left-hand side of the slide, a lot of people over the past several years have been quote unquote quiet quitting, just kind of checking out of their jobs because it's not the right fit for them. And one of the first steps we would recommend that you take is to separate what works for you and what doesn't work in your current role. Create a list of those likes and dislikes And as you work through those, identify the themes in what you're saying. Are you mostly talking about the people that you work with that you enjoy or don't? Or is it more about the clients or the work environment or the actual projects or tasks? And then as part of this exercise, clarify what is permanent, a permanent, like I can't change this situation and it's always going to be this way, versus are you just in like a rut right now and things could improve? That can help tell you how dramatic of a career change is needed. And this is part of why we are here as coaches, because a lot of the times our clients come to us, they think they have to make a really big dramatic change in order to be happy and satisfied. And that's not always the case. So let us help you sort through that. Step number 1 on our agenda for today is to define fulfillment first. And we always have clients think about the fulfillment piece of our career model at the very beginning. And the reason why we have them do this is because, number 1, if you take a look at this slide, it's the most difficult thing typically for people to define. But number 2, it actually helps you think outside the box with your ideas much more than anything else. It will give you more career ideas. And also, it will be the ideas that you have will be closer to what would actually be rewarding and what would give you meaning. Then you can narrow down those ideas based on practical considerations. So if you take a look at our model, we always suggest that people start with fulfillment first. Put everything out there that could be a possible interesting career for you. And then as you progress through our model, going to the left, up here, to the right-hand side, and then ending with environment and compensation, you're narrowing your ideas down based on practical considerations. But the cool thing about this is you've got a lot more ideas than you would have otherwise, and they're going to be a better fit for you than they would if you only, for example, said, well, I'm good at this and I can make money doing it. So, okay, I'm just going to go do that. Fulfillment is important, looking at this slide again on the right-hand side, because it impacts all aspects of our career fit and satisfaction. If we are not leveraging our strengths in a job, we are not going to be fulfilled. If we're not going to get paid as much as we would like in our next role, we're not going to be fulfilled, and vice versa. So it really does influence every other area of the model, and that's part of why we want you to think about it as well. So let's take a look at part of, or the main component or way to define fulfillment. And this is to think about and consider your career values. Values are, bottom line, your guideposts to fulfillment. They're not just ethics or morals. You could have those on your list, but they're bigger than that. They're things that when you align your life and your career with them, you're going to be fulfilled. And on the right-hand side of this slide, they typically are already making decisions for you, so to speak. Like, we subconsciously make decisions aligned with our values for the most part, not all the time. And our goal is that we want people to know what their values are very clearly up front, consciously, so that you can align your life and career decisions with those values more proactively. Now, how do we define values? One way is to identify and write down a list of wants from your dreams, your passions, your interests, the things even that you're like hobbies outside of work, TV shows that you're drawn to, things that you typically read. What are the themes in your personal life that topic-wise you're drawn to? I'll give you a quick example, and this is the reason there's a mermaid on this slide. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a mermaid at Weeki Wachee. I grew up in Florida. We would go there all the time, and I thought that was the coolest thing going. And as an adult, even though I realized that, okay, being a mermaid wasn't the most practical career path for me for different reasons, there were actually clues to my values as a person in that childhood dream. Number 1, I have a value of risk. And to me as a kid, you know, they've got the air hose for oxygen, sure, but it seemed a little risky because that's all they had. Number 2, entertaining people while educating them. So these mermaids, technically, when you go to Weeki Wachee, you're learning about the ocean, the ecosystem, etc. And I love presenting webinars like this, etc., as part of what I do. So educating people by entertaining them and being creative, that's another value I have as well. So even though that childhood dream or my current hobbies aren't the right career path for me, there could be clues about things that you want to incorporate into your dream job from those hobbies and interests and passions. Another way to define fulfillment is to define what success means to you. Journal about that for 10 minutes tonight before you go to bed. What does success professionally mean to you at this point in your life, in your career, etc.? Another way that you can identify your values is on the right-hand side of the slide. Write about or create a vision board about your ideal day at work. What qualities would it have? And can you incorporate those into the next career path for you? And then finally, we like to walk our clients through a peak experience exercise where they are thinking about a moment in time or a period of time for them when they were rocking and rolling and just felt really lit up. And they can pull values out of that. This is what we help people do as part of our coaching process is we'll help you identify what your values are, make sure that they're actually values versus a priority or criteria for an element of your job, and then help you translate those into what it means for your dream job. Let's take a look at number 2, and this is our ideal career model in a little bit greater depth. So here's what we suggest that you do is grab the recording that you see after our session today and start to write for yourself about what some of your values are using the tools we just discussed. Then we want you to take a look at interests in your personal life and in your professional life. And what are some of the tasks that you like to perform and that maybe you'd also like to have incorporated into your dream job? And we explain this, the difference between the two of these a little bit more when we coach with you. Fulfillment tasks are ones that you can do all day, every day and not get sick of them. Interest tasks are tasks that are like icing on the cake. I'd like to be able to do this as well as part of my job, but it's not my main role. Okay. Your top 5 strengths and understanding what those are. You need to leverage your strengths, not just to be successful in your job, but to enjoy it. That's part of it too. Take a look at and brainstorm ideas from your past experience and past education. We've had clients come up with new career ideas from looking at these 2 pieces. But these 3, education, experience, and strengths, also help you narrow down your current ideas based on practical considerations. And then finally, the last 3, last but absolutely not least, very important, is consider your personality type and how that impacts your role, the type of organization that you should be in, and the work environment, and the type of people that you want to be working with. It impacts 3 things in a big way. And your personality type, you can't change. So this one is a make or break. And you really need to make sure that, for example, if you are more introverted like I am, you're not forcing yourself into an extroverted type of job. Look at work environment. This is critical. Plenty of people come to us and they think, I need to go do something totally different. And in some cases, not all, but in some cases for people, it's really about the work environment that's the problem. And then you need to look at compensation. Critically important piece. We all have to pay our bills. The compensation piece will also help you narrow down your ideas. And consider not just money here. Consider also, please, benefits, flex time, all this other juicy good stuff that's important to people these days. When you're thinking through the ideal career model, go into depth with all of these pieces for me. Do not skip over any of them, because if you skip over any one of the pieces, you could end up going down the wrong path and be really unhappy. Some of the things that you want to consider as you're going through the model, and sorry, my dog was coughing in the background, are things like on the left-hand side of this slide, what strengths do you want to continue to leverage versus there might be some you want to move on from? What are your transferable skills and how can you market those effectively? And then finally, on the right-hand side, kind of like we already said, what is the right work environment for you? So as a reminder, go into depth with each of these. Use our model as a checklist so that you're identifying each of these pieces, but you're saying, okay, does this particular career idea check all of the boxes? All of the boxes need to be checked in some way, shape, or form, okay? We can help you with this more. This is what we do all day, every day, and we love what we do. And we've got bundle packages of multiple sessions where you save money on the per session amount. But we also have options where you can try out coaching for a one-time session. And we also have courses for people who prefer to learn on their own. So for those of you who are new to us, if you're not interested or don't feel like you need coaching, refer a friend to us. We've got a really great refer a friend program, and we send you a gift as part of that. And for those of you listening in who are currently working with us, don't forget about our roadside assistance program. Once you're in your new job, this is incredibly helpful and really popular to help you remain successful and on track with your career plans so that you don't go off track into something else. Roadside assistance is also about how to deal with difficult employees, or where do you need to upskill in order to remain effective and successful. So lots of different things there. We'd be happy to talk with you about our services. The next step that we want you to take, and this is our third and last step before we sign off today, is to do some career brainstorming. And we actually have a very specific 3-step process that we walk our clients through to help them pull out the right keywords so that they can start to do some research online on general search sites like Google or Bing, on career brainstorming sites, and also on job boards. So we would recommend this 3-step process. Pull out a list of keywords from the career model that we just talked about, start to plug them into these different types of sites. This will map you to other ideas that you may not have thought of before. As you're working through this process, we suggest you stay really organized. We've got an Excel spreadsheet that's a template that we give to our clients to help them track the keywords that are helpful to them, the career ideas that they're coming up with, those pages that you want to revisit because we don't want you to go down a rabbit hole and lose sight of where you started. And also the job requirements or career requirements and salary to help you narrow things down and know, okay, what's practical and realistic for you after you've researched and looked at a bunch of ideas. So as a quick reminder, start big, like it's the top of a funnel with just Google and Bing or whatever you use. Then use career sites, career brainstorming sites, and then narrow things down a little bit more based on practical considerations from job boards. Let's look at step number 3, and this is going to be to brand yourself. To go find your dream job, you need to sell yourself effectively. There are some nuggets on this next slide here about your resume and LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you've got measurable results in all of your sections of both of these areas. On your LinkedIn profile, you want to have a professional photo and branded banner. You want your about section to be a little bit more personal, and you can use first person some in your about section. That's how it's different from your resume. Definitely make sure that you search engine optimize your resume and LinkedIn, and excuse me, get those recommendations because you can use them in different places that we suggest when we work with our clients. When we're talking about a branded banner, what we mean is something like this. We have great resume templates that are actually, they look really good, but they also get you past the ATS applicant tracking system scanners. Those are $50. We also have LinkedIn templates and examples. Feel free to email us or contact us on our website for more information about those. And if you need help with any of these items, obviously this is part of what we do for people. Your final step after you've worked on branding yourself is to start networking. People still get jobs based on who they know. There are some recommendations on this slide. Check out LinkedIn groups, check out your alumni association LinkedIn group, look up industry-specific associations and attend one of their meetings. Identify recruiters who are local to your area. In some cases, those smaller ones will work with not just the C-suite, but also other positions as well. And finally, SEO, 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 search engine optimize your LinkedIn profile and your resume. So we would love it if before you sign off today, taking or writing down one action step that you will take for this week. What's your commitment here from what you've learned today? It could be anything like reviewing the ideal career model and getting that started. If you already have some of your own ideas, It may be narrowing down your ideas based on the model. We'd be happy to talk with you about our services, as I've already said. You can email us at admin@createyourcareerpath.com or visit our website. And at the top right of the page there's a free call button. I'd be happy to talk with you about how we can assist and what the best option might be for you. Thank you so much again for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it, and we hope this free webinar was helpful for you as a starting point. Good luck and keep us posted.